Howdy everyone, I'm Dust Bunny, and welcome back to the Podfic's Baton Pass. I will be reading Chapter 9 of ShutterBug by I. Riley, and before me, Gemini Wishes read Chapter 8, and after me, Puppy Wanter will be reading Chapter 10. Let's get on with it then. Waking up to a rough feeling on his face, Peter sees Cat Jason's face in his own. Blinking up at the cat, Peter gets a meow in return. Turning his head, Peter spots an empty bowl on the floor. Gently moving the small cat off of him, and instead onto the floor. Slipping off the bed and into the kitchen, Peter pulls open a small bag of cat food. Cat Jason weaves between Peter's legs as he brings the bag towards the bowl, nearly tripping him in the process. Bon appetit! All Peter got for his French was the sound of eating. Sighing, Peter starts to make his own breakfast, stopping short when he remembers he never got any groceries. Damn it. Looking out the window and back at the still-eating cat, Peter slips his shoes on and grabs his wallet. Plus camera, of course. Can I trust you not to run off and be good while I go and get breakfast? I'll take that as a yes. Once out of the window, making sure it was closed so Jason couldn't get out, it will never be any less embarrassing to call the cat Jason. Peter makes his way to a nearby cafe he'd seen. After a short walk and a short wait, Peter sits at a booth while scrolling on his phone. When he goes to click on something at the top of his screen, he gets a notification of a new email. Groaning as it pulls itself up, Peter watches as the words, "Congratulations!" and "Penny Award" load on the screen. Spitting out the coffee that he'd been sipping, Peter rereads the email, then rereads it, just to be sure. He got in. "Yes!" he shouts, gaining the attention of the other people in the cafe. Ducking his head down, he apologized. Facing his phone again, he lets out a goofy grin. Screenshotting the email, he sends it to Jason. Peter sent image.jpg. I got it! Scene 8:37 a.m. Jason. Congrats! You got anything planned to celebrate? Peter. Thanks, big deal. And no, but I may have an idea. Scene 8:38 a.m. Jason. That's good. If you want any help celebrating, let me know. Peter. Will do. Scene 8:38 a.m. Staring at the screen, Peter's head starts to catch up. Flushing, Peter starts to contemplate his life choices. Why did I send that email to Jason? It was nice of him to offer to celebrate with me, though. Not like I have anyone here to share the news with. Shaking his head, Peter finishes off his breakfast sandwich and stands, taking his drink with him. I can have a mental breakdown later. For now, I should get some school supplies. As he makes his way out, he almost bumps into a short old lady. Almost. His spider senses alerting him just in time. Watch out! Peter just narrowly misses running her over. Sure, now my senses work. I need to get a grip. Glad I didn't run into her, though. As he finished that thought, he realizes he knows this old lady. Miss Betty! So sorry, I didn't see you there, he says, looking her over to make sure he hadn't accidentally hurt her. It's quite all right, Peter. What has you in such a rush? She asks, looking up at him. Something that doesn't happen very often. Oh, I'm on my way to get some school supplies. I got accepted into Gotham Prep. Peter couldn't help but beam. Betty smiles and nods. That's good. You'll have to come and visit me at the laundromat once you've started classes to tell me how they went. Peter nods and they say their goodbyes, before going their separate ways. Behind. Looking back, Peter is met with an empty sidewalk. She must have gone into the cafe. My spider senses definitely need a tune-up. Shaking his head, Peter starts his way towards the supermarket. With Jason. Give me back my phone. Dick, I swear to Wonder Woman if you don't give it back to me. Jason gets cut off when his phone is thrown back to him. Catching it, Jason reads the message from Peter, along with what Dick had responded with. Dick, who saw Jason's phone go off, had grabbed it before Jason could, saying something about how everyone you know is here, so it must be Peter. How that correlates to him having dibs on the phone, Jason doesn't know. Really? He gets accepted and all you do is say I can celebrate with him, if he wants me to? Are you supposed to be good at this? Dick huffs at him, but responds nonetheless. Yeah, but you are most definitely not. I was being you. All Jason gives him is a deadpan stare. I need you to stop hanging out with Celine so much. Dick smiles at Jason teasingly before starting. Well, she is my girlfriend. He looks around before leaning in, motioning Jason to do the same, continuing when he does so. Soon-to-be fiancé if everything goes right. Seeing his goofy grin, Jason can tell he's serious. Holy shit. Yeah. Have you told Bruce? Helped me pick out the ring. Saw him looking himself too. I think he's going to ask Clark. Is probably waiting till I ask so he doesn't overshadow us or something. Shaking his head, Jason rereads the messages with Peter, letting himself smile as he pockets his phone and starts to ask more questions. Peter. Now that he has his school supplies, at least what he thinks he'll need, prior to the syllabus, Peter lets himself drift towards the fabric section. Seeing the black and red fabric, Peter runs his hand over them while glancing to the dark blues, stopping when he feels the familiar materials of spandex. Peter slides the 2 rolls off the shelf, better placing them into his cart. Best to get the whole roll now. Patch-ups will be easier with the original fabric. Moving further down the aisle, Peter quickly finds a roll of dark blue spandex. There's less on the roll, but Peter grabs it all the same. Looking at the sewing machines and mannequins, Peter thinks back to the email. It had said he'd be able to get a dorm/apartment on or off campus. All he had to do was go set it up. I'll get one later, he thinks, moving to the checkout. Soon enough, he's on his way back to his apartment, and, after a quick check-in on Jason, including a few pets and a fresh bowl of water, Peter's back out and on his way to Gotham Prep. Stopping short as he reaches the bus stop, Peter remembers the photos he'd taken. Shit, I should stop and give these to Jen. Stepping up into the now open bus, Peter waits for his new stop. Peter, Jen starts. Peter shuffles his feet and starts to pull at a loose end on his shirt. These are... She clicks the next button. Amazing! Jumping at her sudden volume, Peter looks up at her. You even got Red Hood. Do you know how hard it is to get a picture of him? And he's even sitting and eating. Did you have dinner with him? Never mind that. Here. She grabs her checkbook before scribbling a number on it and signing it, pushing it into Peter's hands. She goes back to clicking through the pictures. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. He gets cut off. Like them? Kid, I love them. These will be in the new Wayne magazine. Not only is it rare enough to get any of them to do a photo shoot, but you got them all there to take them. His denial at it being him that got them there went unheard. After this, people are going to be requesting you left and right. Oh, I never gave you my number. Let me see your phone. Thanks. This way, I could just text you when you get offers. I might have something for you, but that'll be in a couple of weeks. As Jen starts to spiral into her thoughts, she waves Peter away, handing the camera back. Deciding to get a couple printed, Peter makes his way to the designated room. Waiting for the machine to do its thing, he hears a voice. Hey, I heard you've been doing good. Got any tips? It's Kat who speaks. Smiling, Peter gives her a greeting. Hey! Not that I can think of. Just take it when you think it's best. She nods but doesn't move from her position in the doorframe. Glancing at her before grabbing the now printed photos, Peter is quick to place them in a folder. Seeing the new pack of paper folded next to the printer, Peter thinks it's because people keep asking Tammy, the lady at the front desk. Turning to leave, Peter is made more than aware that Kat is still in the doorframe, still looking at him. Is there anything you need help with? She just smiles, but doesn't respond for a few moments. I'm just looking at the view. She smirks before rolling off the doorframe and into the hall. What? Did she just flirt with me? Pulling his lips together, Peter makes a humming noise. While the thought flattered him, Peter didn't know how to respond to that. A traitorous part of his mind supplied an image of Jason, smiling at him during the gala, and again at the photo shoot. Shaking his head harder this time, to get rid of the thoughts, and blush, Peter is quick to make his escape into the lobby and out of the door. A quick stop at the bank and a cashed check later. 30,000? What the fuck, Jen? And Peter is now standing outside of Gotham Prep. Walking in, Peter greets the same lady sitting at the desk from when he took his test. Which way to the advising office? She simply points to her right as she continues to work on her computer. Nodding and following the path, and sighs, Peter arrives at his destination. Hi. I got an email about being approved for a scholarship, and it said to come here. The lady sitting at the desks, face lit up, as she beckons him to sit. You're in the right place. Here, sit. Are you wanting to get a dorm? As she slides him a small stack of paper, she continues her rapid-fire questions. Flipping through the packet and signing what he needs to, Peter breaks her out of it. Yep, I'd like to do an apartment off campus, one that allows pets if possible. She nods and asks about what kind of animal it is. A cat. She coos and asks if he has a picture. He doesn't, and quickly stands. Well, shall we go look at them? Seeing Peter's confused look, she elaborates. There's a tram that goes to each dorm, including off-campus ones. Peter stands as she finishes and starts to follow her. She asks more questions as they walk. What is your study plan? Biophysics. Really? That sounds so cool. Do you like heights? Yes. Do you have any handicaps or any things that need the accessibility department? No. Okay. What? Oh, we're here. Peter can only blink up at the building. It's a modern building, but has some interesting architecture. Must be a Gotham thing, he thinks as he walks in. The lady, he still hasn't gotten her name, quickly ducks into a nearby room, most likely an office, and returns with a key and some paperwork. She motions him towards the elevator, stopping only when she sees a sign in front of it. Out of order. Not to be deterred, she spins on her heel and starts her way to the stairs. Keeping in pace, Peter climbs the staircase just behind the lady. Soon enough, though, they exit into a hallway. Top floor, Peter notes. As they come up to a corner room, she pushes the key she'd grabbed into the handle. This room, should you choose to accept it, is all yours. Pet-friendly, fully furnished, AC and heating, windows open fully. Be careful, please. The laundry can be done on the ground floor. And, of course, you have a bathroom to yourself. There's a couple of restaurants nearby that take the food card. A grocery store, too. Looking around as he listens, Peter can't help but smile. It looks so similar to what he'd had back home, back in Queens, after, well, everything. The one he'd only gotten with the help of some friends he'd made after the whole forget me turned erase my entire existence ordeal. Blinking back the start of tears, he turns to face the lady. It's perfect. She beams at him. Awesome! You'll have to sign this, and it's all yours. I'll be sure to send you your schedule soon. Biophysics will be busy work, but I think you'll do fine. So that's why she'd asked so many questions. She was trying to figure out what he'd need and want. Smiling, he follows her back out of the room and down the stairs. They continue to talk through the short tram ride back, and they say their goodbyes before they turn their separate ways. Peter has to pack, after all. Bags packed? Check. Jason ready to go? Check. Peter ready to go? Check. Peter picks up Jason before placing him onto his shoulder, grabbing his bag and the small bag full of Jason's things. Litter box has to be tossed. He'd get a new one. Out the window, and at the bus stop once again, Peter spots Betty sitting at the bench. Smiling as he walks up, he starts to greet her. Miss Betty, hey! While it got her attention, Peter got cut off by a loud hiss from his shoulder. Turning to look up at Jason, Peter gives him a confused look. I'm sorry, it's not normally like this. Jason's resistance at going closer makes Peter stop his approach, the cat having almost fallen off in his attempt to move back. It's quite all right, dear. I have that effect on animals, I'm afraid. Quite unfortunate for the fluffy ones, but works great for the spiders and other bugs. Peter doesn't get the chance to correct her. They're arachnids, not bugs. When he hears a beep. Turning, Peter is surprised to see Jason. The person, not the cat. The man smiles before waving him over. He quickly excuses himself and makes his way over. Hey, what are you doing here? Peter asks. He gets a laugh in return, but after a moment, the older man responds. I was out for a drive when I saw you carrying a bunch of stuff. You moving or something? Peter nods and tells him about his new apartment/dorm. No shit. Well, hop in. I'll give you a ride. Peter wants to deny it, but the look in Jason's eyes tells him it's pointless. Sighing, he agrees. Waving a goodbye to Betty, Peter moves to put his things into the car. Jason, the cat, sits proudly on the passenger seat, voicing his disappointment when Peter picks him up to be placed in his lap. He needs to sit somewhere, don't hate. The drive is short, but there's no awkward silence. It's nice. Jason had put on some music while driving, not super loud in case Peter wanted to talk. He hadn't, opting to close his eyes and enjoy the music, and the slight mumble singing that Jason was doing. Feeling the car park breaks him out of his dreamlike trance. Grabbing Jason, the cat, as he stood, Peter moves to grab his bags. One bag gets grabbed as he reaches for the other, looking up to see Jason holding the other one, and the smirk he held. Peter just shook his head and closed the door. Once he heard the beep of it locking, Jason gestured him to lead the way. Stepping into the building, Peter immediately took the stairs. Peter could hear Jason's quiet huff at the thought of steps. Wait till he finds out Peter's on the top floor. Once on said top floor, Peter pulls out his key and unlocks the door, slipping in and holding it open for the other man. Jason gives a low whistle as he looks around, setting the bag down near the couch. Not a bed this time. Take that, Gotham. It's nice. Nodding, Peter sets his bag down, moving to the bathroom to put down the litter box before filling it. Jason had been nice enough to stop, so Peter could get a new one. You'll have to come over once I actually get some decoration up. Peter laughs as he finishes speaking, walking out into the living room. And when I actually have plates and something to offer you to drink. Jason chuckles at this, even though his joke was half-hearted. Yeah, might need a trip to the grocery store. He pauses for a moment, hesitating to say more. Need any help unpacking, or do you just need me out of your hair? Peter stopped for a moment, thinking before turning to face the man. I don't need any help. He sees Jason deflate a bit before he continues. But I wouldn't mind the company. Perking up a bit at that, Jason moves to Peter's new room, bag in hand, sitting on the edge of his bed, while Peter grabs the other bag. Setting the other bag onto the bed, Peter starts to remove its contents and place them on the drawers, or off to the side, to move to the bathroom later. Who was the lady you were talking to? She your grandma? Despite the words sounding blunt, the tone wasn't unfriendly. Shaking his head with a small smile, Peter answers. Nah, just a friend I made. Actually, I met her at the laundromat, a little bit from where you picked me up. Jason seems to freeze for a moment, but he shakes himself out of it soon enough, so Peter doesn't ask. That's nice. You help her with her laundry or something? He said it like a joke, but the look Peter gives him tells Jason all he needs to know. You're kidding. He deadpans. Nope. You're telling me that you made friends by helping her, what, put in detergent? Switching loads, actually. She couldn't reach the dryer while holding the sheets. Jason does actually laugh at that, trying, and failing, to hide it, at Peter's half-glare. A short bit later and ordered takeout. Jason has to leave what is now the Parker residence. Peter walks him to the door, saying his thank yous and goodbyes as he leaves. Once the door is closed, Peter moves back to his bedroom. And isn't that a crazy thought? Not even a month here, and he's already got an apartment. Quickly changing into his pajamas and plugging his phone in, Peter is out the moment his head hits the pillow. Jason. Once back in his car, Jason lets his mind wander back to Peter's new friend. While normally Jason would be happy for Peter, something didn't feel right. Not to mention Jason's, the cat, reaction to her. The quick drive confirms Jason's suspicions. There was no old lady at the laundromat. The one Peter had mentioned was closed, and has been for quite a while. So who was she, and what did she want with Peter? If you enjoyed this, down in the description, there is a link to the playlist for the rest of the chapters of this fic, a link to Puppy, who will be reading the next chapter, and a link to the author's original work if you want to read ahead. If you enjoyed my reading, you can subscribe if you want, or go down to the comments and give me a suggestion for what else I should read. I'll talk to the author and see if they're cool with it. Thank you for listening. Intros are so strange. Why do people do intros? Dick, I swear to Wonder Woman, if... That's such a cute line. That's very cutesy.